Hello, I am Harley Jane Kozak, which you probably know if you have come this far to this website and clicked on whatever link you clicked on. So I'm doing a Q&A. These are questions that were sent in sometime last week and by people who are curious about me and the cruise and well, I don't know anything about the cruise except that I'm excited about it, but let me see. Okay, so the first one, let's go to Rue Joe Baba. Pardon me, Rue, if I said that incorrectly. He says, hello, Harley. I loved all your books, and I was wondering if there is going to be a new one anytime soon. I am bringing a copy of my favorite one to the cruise in hopes to get an autograph. Rue, I love this question. Is there going to be a new one anytime soon? No. For those of you who only know me as Mary from Santa Barbara, I also write novels, and I've written 5 novels, 4 in a murder mystery series, 1 a paranormal romance, which involves elves. And I'm working on one right now that I've been working on for a very long time. I'm not going to say how long because it's embarrassing. And once I sell it, it'll still be another year because books publishing is slow. However, that said, I wrote a short story called The Walk-In for an anthology called For the Sake of the Game, which is stories inspired by Sherlock Holmes. And my story, this is very exciting news, was picked to be in a second anthology called Best American Mystery Stories of 2019, which will be out in October. So the short answer is no, but the longer answer is yes. You can buy either For the Sake of the Game or Best American Mystery Stories 2019 and read a fairly long short story. Okay, thank you, Rue. This one is from Tatiana Belyakova. Pardon me if I said that wrong, Tatiana. Hi, Harley. You have 3 beautiful children. Thank you. How do you know that? What kind of lifestyle do they choose for themselves? Attracts their acting skills? So I might add that there are several fans here, I think from Russia or possibly Ukraine, which is very exciting to me, and I hope to meet some of you on the cruise. And Tatiana, I'm guessing you're one of those. But I'm so intrigued by the fact that you know that I have 3 beautiful children. Well, I do. Okay, but I never post anything about them on Facebook. But as a matter of fact, this is my living room. So here were my 3 beautiful children about 10 years ago. This is Audrey. She's 19 now. This is Louie and Gia, and they're twins, and they are 17. So what kind of lifestyle do they choose for themselves? Choose for themselves is the operative phrase. They are completely wonderful and very individual people, and they are discovering, all that life has to offer, and have wildly divergent interests. None of them so far have shown any interest in acting. Let me see. Todd says, hello, Harley. Such an amazing opportunity to talk with you, and so looking forward to meeting you. I fell in love with Mary on Santa Barbara instantly when she was introduced, and my heart broke when she was killed. But what a way to go, LOL. Had you stayed on the show and Mary not been killed, where would you like to have seen the writers take the character? A sinister past revealed, perhaps? Or maybe Mary would find a kinship with Gina. Oh, definitely. Gina was kind of a wonderfully morally ambiguous character, and so yes to that one, and yes to discovering a dark past. The thing about Mary was she was an ex-nun, and she was such a genuinely good-hearted person that after a while, on a soap, which runs forever, well, almost forever, you have to keep finding new depths and storylines and turns and reversals. So honestly, yes, the only place for Mary to go was the dark side. So that would have been lots of fun. I could really see her chain smoking and shooting up, couldn't you? Oh, I'm sorry, was I not supposed to say that? let me see. Yana Denisova says, and one more question, Harley, if you can. That implies Yana asked a question earlier. But maybe it's later because I printed these out of order. Okay. One more question, Harley, if you can. You starred in several films on the subject of fantastic. Android Affair, The Outer Limits, The Camp was the name of the episode, Dark Planet, and others. Did you enjoy doing fantastic movies? I love sci-fi. I love it. You know, one thing I would say about all these, so The Android Affair was my personal favorite among these, where I played a doctor and I was having sex with an android played by Griffin Dunn. It was so much fun to make. The Outer Limits, like I think I led a rebellion. Dark Planet, I was a captain. The Android Affair, I was a medical doctor. I think sci-fi, among the many wonderful things about it, is that women are very powerful. It seems like, well, except for The Handmaid's Tale. But it seems like sci-fi allows women so much more power than contemporary fiction, which is probably wish fulfillment. But anyway, I love sci-fi. Lana, whose last name is Sachse, I'm going to say Shoxy. Lana asks, hello, Harley. Thank you for this opportunity to say hello and ask you a question. I'm a huge fan of yours ever since you played Mary, and I was devastated when they killed off your character back in the day. I don't think I ever got over it. But recently I have discovered your other amazing talent, your writing. I am currently reading Dating Dead Men. That was my first novel. And absolutely loving the story, your wit, your sense of humor. Thank you. Thank you, Lana. My question is, do you have a favorite detective story writer that is your role model, like Sir Arthur Conan Doyle or someone from modern times maybe? Oh my gosh, I have so many role models. And of course, I love Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, who, by the way, I only discovered Sherlock Holmes like, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago while painting my upstairs. And I listened to his complete works on audiobooks. And that led to the short story I wrote in the anthology, which the connecting thread is they're all based on or inspired by Sherlock Holmes. So anyway, that's not really answering your question. If I were to pick among modern writers, it's really hard. I write mysteries, and who's even my favorite? I don't know. I love Alice Hoffman. I really love her. There's too many to name. It's a really hard question, but yes to Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, and I would say Shakespeare is another one. Hello, I'm Harley again. You probably know this. I played Mary on Santa Barbara, and I'm answering questions that people wrote in. And this question, this is part 2. We did some, and then, okay. This question is from Elena. It's in the Cyrillic alphabet. I can read the Elena pretty well. Her last name, which is actually before the first name, because I guess that's how they do it in this country, I think is something like Kardanova. I'm just guessing. But anyway, I recognize the Elena. Elena, hello. Sorry about your last name. I'm sure I didn't do it correctly. Hi, dear Harley. Santa Barbara became a magical show for me only because of Mason and Mary. Mary's death was a big shock. I know that the viewers raised a big wave of indignation demanding your return to the show, and the producers of Santa Barbara unsuccessfully tried to get you back more than once. A. Martinez said, we were approaching a bit of a ratings roll when Harley Kozak was let go. It took us 8 months, if not longer, to get the same share we had the week her character was killed. I didn't know that. Elena goes on to say, I was happy to know that you made a successful film in primetime TV primetime show career. I adore films in which you starred. Arachnophobia, Parenthood, All I Want for Christmas, and many others. At that moment, when you were preparing for Ron Howard's magnificent film, Parenthood, you kindly agreed to return to Santa Barbara for 2 episodes in which Mason meets Mary in heaven. Tell us, please, what were your feelings when you returned to Santa Barbara set 3 years later? What did you talk about with Lane? Okay, I have no memory. I don't remember what I said to people, you know, last week. So I have no memory of what I said to Lane, but I'm sure it was delightful to see him. And I'm sure that my feelings upon returning were just delight and gratitude. And it was a wonderful year of my life. And I'm one of those people who really is happy with short-term jobs, and then I like to move on to the next thing. And so for me, it wasn't terrible to be killed slash fired slash let go. I just looked at it as, okay, my number's up, time to move on, time to find out what else is out there in the world of, in the acting marketplace beyond soaps, which I did. But Santa Barbara was very dear to my heart. So I imagine going back for those episodes and playing an angel in heaven. I remember it as just being purely joyful. Does that answer your question? I didn't know that about the ratings. Of course, that's gratifying to hear. Yeah, fans really loved Mason and Mary because, you know, oh my God, do we love anything more than a wedding? And I think people felt cheated out of a wedding. And, yes. Anyway, wait. Oh, here's one. This is another Cyrillic one. So this is Marina. I got that part. And then Kuzmisheva. I don't know that I'm saying. Marina, hello. My dear Harley, I am very grateful to you for the character of Mary that you created. I love that. I would say at best I was a co-creator. I think of the writers as being the true creators. I always admire your acting, your exact emotional interpretation of characters. Unfortunately, I've read only one of your translated books. I would be very happy if your books were filmed and you played one of your heroines. I admire you. Dear Harley, I wish you a lot of inspiration, prosperity, love, friends, fans. With warmest regards, Marina, an artist with love. Thank you, Marina. Thank you. That's a beautiful letter. What was the question? Oh, if my books were filmed. Yes, actually, I sold an option to Dating Dead Men, my first book, to Aaron Spelling, and then he died. So nothing ever came of it. That's pretty standard in Hollywood. As for me playing one of my characters, I am way too old to play anybody in my books, except for, you know, the odd character part. But thank you. When I wrote them, I would have been the right age, but you know, time marches on. But that's okay. I would love to see them filmed because it's thrilling for a writer, even though they change things beyond recognition quite often. So there's that. But anyway, thank you. And I'm sorry that they're not translated into Russian. I actually have some of them behind me. They're translated into Japanese, Italian, German, British English, Dutch, and I think Serbian. Anyway, so now we've got Christopher Dean. I've been a fan since you were Brett Wheeler on Texas. Wow. I followed you to Guiding Light, Santa Barbara, Arachnophobia, and Parenthood. I was so bummed when you left acting. You are an awesome actress. Any chance you will do any more acting? Well, Christopher, so yes, I took a very long maternity leave when my children were born because they were, you know, boom, 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 1, 2, 3. And I wrote books. And I didn't know if I would ever return to acting. And then when my kids hit middle school and they could walk home from school on their own, it was a big landmark in my life. And I woke up one morning and went, oh, I think it's time to go back. So I have done acting in the last 5 years, but I'm 62, so the parts are far less numerous than when I was in my 30s and 20s. But that said, the experience of acting is equally thrilling now. But most of the work I've done has been on indie films, which tend to play in film festivals and not so much on the big screen. So, but I am acting again. Thank you for asking, Christopher. And I go off every Saturday morning to my acting studio where I sometimes teach, but mostly act. And I act, you know, with a bunch of other actors. It's like going to the gym for actors, and it's thrilling to be back. In fact, it's so much more satisfying now than when I was younger. And because there's no pressure anymore, it's just purely fun. Anyway, then here's Annie Halverson, or maybe Ani. She says, "Hi, Hardly. Sadly, you only spent a year on Santa Barbara. Were you surprised to find out how popular and loved Mary your character still was 30 plus years later? What do you think is the reason for that?" I am totally surprised, Annie, or Ani. Totally surprised. It kind of defies explanation for me. My dogs are trying to, hello, sweetie. It defies explanation. Oh, my dog just jumped up into the camera woman's lap. I can't tell you why. Septimus, come here, come here. I can't tell you why she's so popular. Honestly, I have no idea. I have no idea. I think that culture, especially pop culture, is the strangest thing. Like, who can say? Who can say why something, I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, if anyone has any ideas about that, please let me know. I don't know why Mary is so popular. But Santa Barbara as a whole is still very popular all these years later, right? And I think soaps are just an art form. Sadly, kind of a dying art form. But I loved soaps. I loved doing them. I loved watching them. And I'm sure somebody has explored this question and could give you a better answer. This question is from, I think the name is Yulia, but I'm not sure. But anyway, because it's in the Cyrillic alphabet. And I only took a semester of Russian many years ago in Nebraska. Hello, Harley. Please tell me about your favorite character in soap operas and movies. I mean, character which you played. If you wrote Mary and Mason's story, what would it be? And please tell more about your writer's career. I adore your Mary Duval and your book, Dead X. Good luck, Harley. Thank you, Yulia, or maybe not Yulia. Thank you. So my favorite character, well, that would obviously have to be Mary. And here's why. Well, she had an eccentric and wild family. Her stepbrother turned out to be a rapist, if memory serves. She was a nun. She left the convent. She's not the only nun I played, believe it or not. And I did grow up Catholic, so I had that to draw on. But she left the convent, which was a very brave thing to do. And then she nursed Mr. Capwell out of his coma, fell in love with Mason, married Mark, was raped by Mark, was impregnated by Mason, and then was crushed to death by a giant neon letter C. I just don't think I can probably top that in this lifetime. I'm very grateful. What else? If you wrote Mary and Mason's story, what would it be? I couldn't write it better than that, honestly. I mean, I know my death was shocking, and it was shocking for me too. I think I had maybe 3 days notice. But I love how life turns out okay, even when it seems tragic in the moment. And it really did turn out okay for the whole show. And look, Mason went on to find love, and Mary became an angel. Things work out. Please tell me more about your writer's career. I've always loved writing, and when I got pregnant, actually before I got married and pregnant, I wrote a book called Dating Dead Men, based on my dating experiences, minus the murder. And then I went on to write 3 more in that series, and I loved writing novels, and I've been working on my 6th one forever, and I've written a lot of short stories too. But anyway, I love, it's, you know, people sometimes ask me, which do you love more, acting or writing, and it's really apples and oranges, but it's all storytelling. And when things are going well as an actor, I love acting. When things are going well as a writer, I love writing. When things are not going well in my writing, I think, what am I doing this for? Acting is so much easier. And then, of course, the reverse is also true. When things are not going well with my acting, I think, why do I bother with this? Writing is so much easier. Okay. Yana Denisova, we remember Yana from before, says, "Hi Harley, I would like to know about your creative plans for the near future. Thanks." Well, of course, the cruise. And I'm working on my current book, which I've been working on for 10 years. And I'm also narrating audiobooks, which I was doing a lot in the 90s before I got married and had kids. And I'm doing that again, so that's exciting. And let me see. Jane Hart Barrett says, "What did you think about the way Mary died on Santa Barbara?" Well, Jane, I was shocked when the producer called me into her office one day after work and said, "I don't know how to tell you this, but you're dying." And I said, "Oh, how long do I have?" And she said, "Till Tuesday." And I said, "Oh." She said, "Yeah, there's been some restructuring on staff and we're looking to cut costs and you've been here a year and you're about to get a raise and blah, blah, blah." Like there were other reasons that had nothing to do with story or character. And anyway, so I was like a victim of budget cuts, and I said, "Do I at least have a memorable way of dying?" And she said, "Well, we think so." And she was right. So what did I think about it? I thought it was so inventive and creative. Although I will say, when I read it in the script, it was very dramatic and moving. And then I got on the set and everything, if you've been on a set, you'll know, everything kind of looks like styrofoam. So I thought, wait a minute, this big neon letter C is like a big piece of styrofoam. Like, I don't know how this is going to kill me. But it did. And hopefully, I think it looked more dramatic on television than it did on the set. But isn't that true of all of acting? Okay. Elena. Oh, this is Elena again. Okay, this must be Elena's earlier question. Is the soap diva Trisha from your book Dead X a generalized character, or does this character have a specific prototype? No, Trisha is just the soap diva that we all know and love. Like there's one on every soap, right? And the fact that Trisha actually was the name of my little sister, Mary's little sister. No, I think Trisha was the actress, not the character. Anyway, no, Trisha was just a prototype. Yes, that was a very astute observation on your part. Oh, Natalie Lysenko says, "How do you think what is happiness?" Oh my gosh. Well, for me, happiness is my children, definitely. But happiness is really everybody's children then. Like children, babies, puppies, flowers. Oh, what is happiness? I would say, this is not an original thought, and I don't know who said it first, but I think happiness is not getting what you want, but wanting what you get. And so that's kind of my own personal spiritual practice, is to try and look around and, you know, be grateful for life just as it shows up, even though sometimes some days are harder than others, right? But yeah, that's happiness. I think being alive is I think I've been very blessed and lucky. That's it. Okay, I think that's it for the questions. Thank you.